It is recording.
That would be so sad if we'd started recording, but actually not started recording. What's going on with you?
So I need to make an apology to a lot of people out there.
Me included? Are you going to apologize to me?
Oddly, actually, no, you're the last person I'll apologize to. I mainly need to apologize to, like, I guess script writers. I don't know.
Script writers?
Script writers. Because I've always thought it's absurd, and I've shared this opinion with you many times, as to how people react in movies. Like, if something scares them. The classic, like, what's that lady on the boat? That painting of the lady on the boat? And she's, like, clapping her hands to her face.
Whoa!
Yeah,
like the scream. Screaming
Is that
lady?
what it's called? The scream?
Is that on a boat?
I think so. I think she's on a boat.
What the fuck? That's Van Gogh or something, isn't it?
Yes, maybe.
Sure.
We are so uneducated.
We're 5 seconds into this. We're like, is it? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
No fucking clue.
So I need to apologize to script writers for the purpose of how they make people react. I always thought it's really absurd when people like clap their hands to their face, or they're like, I don't know, that dumb stuff in shows where people are like, completely lost my train of thought. Where they'll be like, oh, this is why we're not in The Flash, for instance.
Okay, so we're talking about The Flash.
He'll always be like, we have to do this, or I had to do this, but he never explains why. And people are like, but we don't understand what your motivations are. Like, we need to make sure we're all cool. And you and I always are like, just explain. And then like,
just tell them and they'll all be on board and understand. Communication is key. If that ain't our number one fucking thing.
I always thought this was a bit silly because it was like, I don't know, how do I view this without it fucking showing me a slideshow? All right. So yeah, I've always felt it's very silly when people react that way in movies and whatnot. And I caught myself the other day basically having one of those reactions.
We're fully like hand
No, not quite.
Face.
So mine was a different version. I was walking down the street.
Wow.
And I saw a pigeon and I was like, oh, don't see many pigeons in Melbourne. You see those like different pigeon looking things that they're not pigeons, but they look different. We have another story on that actually. Bucky killed one of those, remember? That wasn't a pigeon. Anyway, so I was walking down the street. I see a pigeon.
A live pigeon.
There on the ground. Yes, live pigeon. There on the ground. And it was like, no worries. Just going to keep walking. Now, because it's a pigeon, I didn't expect this. A magpie, you may. But this pigeon didn't swoop me since it was on the ground. But it did this weird thing where it flew up in the air. And it kind of stalled in front of my face and like flared its feet out at me. And then it like...
What?
It's almost like it just wasn't beating its wings fast enough and it started to drop momentum. And then it took off and went over my head.
What the fuck?
But I like did a straight up like... and at the same time, I had my hand come up and clutch my chest like an old lady.
Oh my God.
I was getting surprised. And I looked to my left and there's this car full of people that have just watched me react this way.
And you're like a manly looking man too.
You're not dainty.
You're not dainty. That immediately gives me, so we've mentioned our puppy Kara, who's Border Collie Cross Maremma.
Yeah.
And when she was little, we'd only had her for maybe less than a week. But something about Maremmas is that they're a livestock guardian dog. And she did this, I can only describe as a blood-curdling war cry. It was horrifying. We are inside of our house, like inside of our property, not the backyard or anything. And you've thrown your fists up and I've ducked and thrown my hands above my head. That's how scared both of us were of this noise. And we're like, oh, it's this 13-week-old puppy. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, she can
I'm glad only the two of us. It's terrifying. People who hear it, I've got a video of myself reacting. I was weeding and stuff out in our front yard. Mm-hmm. And she does this like absolute bark war cry. And you can see my face just like purely panic. And it's actually one of my favorite videos of myself. It's very funny. I'll have to find it.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
I've just realized, I'm sorry for the silence there. That was rude.
Oh, we haven't been recording?
No, we've luckily enough. But we haven't actually started the episode. So, yeah. That's unwarranted.
You know
All right, we gotta look that one up. Okay, I'm dumb.
You're not dumb. You're just wrong.
I'm never wrong.
It's a joke. It's just unwarranted.
Welcome and ladies and that there's
Welcome,
too many
ladies and gentlegans.
Ladies and gentle times.
Label bees and gentle bugs.
Buggledees and lady burps. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Unwarranted. I hope everyone out there has had a lovely 2 weeks. That's right. We are still fortnightly, not quite weekly yet, but you guys will just have to miss us for a little while. We'll come back for you.
It's called the anticipation. We all love a bit of anticipation.
You know what they say? The best relationships require, what is it? Time to miss one another? I don't know.
Yes,
I'm dropping bombs on today. So, yeah, that's my apology to the writers of Hollywood and whoever else, because clearly some people do react that way.
You know what? I think a lot of people are fucked, and I don't think you need to apologize for them.
Well, that's a pretty broad statement, but proceed.
Broad is exactly the word that we're going for here.
Okay.
Broad is exactly the word.
I'm assuming there's a double entendre there.
There is. But some people are so fucking crazy. As mentioned, I work retail as well as my day job. And the center that I work in is just like, the people are so fucking ridiculous. So in the last week, in the last maybe 5 days, in the change rooms, we've had an old pair of pants left.
Yeah.
We've had an old bra swapped out, probably.
Gross.
A used pad stuck to the wall.
Extra gross.
So fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
We've had people shitting on the floor and, well, not with
shitting on the floor in the shopping center or like in the shop or?
Not in our shop, thank the fucking Lord.
Would you have had to clean that up or would the shopping center cleaners come through?
Okay, so I've never okay. I've got two stories that are now coming to mind.
Okay.
So the first one is in the same center. And I didn't have to clean it up, nor did I really know much about it until after it was dealt with, thank the Christ. But there was a small child who vomited everywhere, like into the pram, onto the floor, onto clothes and stuff, and one of my colleagues.
That sounds like some Exorcist shit there.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, kind of strawberry milkshake kind of shit. Like it was disgusting. So we had to clean that up. And by we, I mean my colleague who found it and had to deal with it. That's a bummer for her.
That's stolen valor, Monica. You can't claim to clean up something so
I
horrific.
Cleaned up nothing. I do not do well with vomit. That is a clear fact.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was like the only point of contention in our early days of our relationship.
Yeah. You're like,
if I threw up, you were like, nah, you're dead to me.
I'm sleeping on the couch. And I don't get unhappy about much, right? Like I'm a pretty cruisy kind of girl. But the vomits, I'm not a fan of. The other story that I have before the shit on the floor story is I was working at a different shopping center, same store. And this school-age girl comes out in like her high school dress and her backpack. And she comes out, she's like, she was clearly really, really embarrassed. And so this goes out with empathy. She's like, I'm really, really sorry. Like, I made a bit of a mess. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry. And then she just leaves. And we're like...
She didn't elaborate on the mess?
Nothing. No, like, she was skadoodling the fuck out there.
To be honest, I don't know if I'd do anything too dissimilarly.
Yeah. And she did mention, she was like, I'm really sorry. Like, I have a medical condition? Condition, not conviction. I have a medical conviction.
Have IBS.
This one didn't shit on the floor. She was really nice.
Oh.
She peed.
Oh.
She wet herself. And she's like,
that's not that bad.
It's a medical condition. Like, I've cleaned myself up. Like, I'm okay, but I'm just really sorry.
Did she
like,
buy some clothes? Like, did she have to change?
Well, because it's a medical condition, she already had clothes. Like, she went in a school dress and came out in,
I feel like, you would probably always carry a spare set.
If it's something, yeah. And so
Do you think that's why there's always those kids, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Those kids out there that would always wear a backpack even when they're like, you're not going to school or something. You're like, bro, why'd you bring a backpack today?
I'm gonna pee my pants.
Because I just shit my dacks,
Shit my dacks. What if you didn't even wear undies? What are you gonna change into?
People who do not wear underwear to the gym. Are you fucking kidding me?
How many nuts have you seen?
I haven't seen any nuts, but I've seen some pubes when people like go to do a sit up or something like that and their shirt comes up and you can see like those shorts have gone low enough that I should be seeing your like jock's waistband. And the fact that you'd have to be looking at that area to catch it for like normally if someone was wearing underwear and there was a different something going on down there, you wouldn't notice it that quickly. But when you see pubes just fly out of the top of some shorts, like the absence of underwear, it's hard not to catch.
Yeah.
But no, people who don't wear underwear to the gym, fuck that, man.
And that makes me think, those who don't wear underwear under skirts and dresses.
Do you think that is more of like I guess it's a comfortability thing either way, but what about people who wear jeans with no underwear? That's wild man behavior.
That is wild human behavior. In fact, not even wild human, because wild humans don't have access to jeans.
That's alien behavior.
I don't think it's real behavior.
I'm pretty sure Bert Kreischer doesn't wear underwear with jeans.
Bert Kreischer also pissed in a milk jug in the middle of a comedy show.
He did do that. We were
witness.
He did do that? We were witness.
That was absolutely wild. Yeah, when you
gotta love some K-Dog.
100%. No, it's fucking crazy. And like, so in terms of this underwear situation, this lady at the shopping center, I asked a security guard, I'm like, yeah, man, this fucking center, it's like the people just don't respect it. Like there's bathrooms are always messy. The food court's always got like just food left everywhere. And
sorry, this was the security guard you were speaking to?
Yeah, so the security guard was like, oh, you'll never guess what happened this week. And I said, I probably won't because the center is insane and everything surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
They found a shit on the floor, just like
in the middle of the shopping center hallways, that sort of thing?
Exactly, just in the middle of the shopping center hallways. And so they went back through the security cameras and they just saw a lady who was wearing a dress or skirt of some kind, who just kind of, it just fell out. Imagine.
So someone was walking behind her and they just saw like a poop drop to the floor.
Well, I don't know if anyone was behind her, but it was the security camera that caught the
Why?
the
I'm listening to this story, but somehow I'm missing parts of it.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening.
It's like you're listening, but like not paying
It's like
attention.
you never even pay attention
You
to
don't
me.
even pay attention to me. Yeah, 100%. Like that is so
Speaking
nasty.
of if you were a wife or girlfriend like that, I saw a very funny shit-stirring video.
Oh, to be like the person that's like, anyway.
Oh,
Gotcha. I thought you meant
although
like
this
kind
is
of wife
probably
or girlfriend that shits on the floor in a shopping center. This is also for you.
I'm very glad that you're not that. I don't think we'd be in a relationship if you were that kind of person.
If I shit on the floor or...
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's so much clean space
I've never
around
shit
it.
on the floor before.
No, what I was going to say is, so there was this great video the other day of like NBA halftime activities. And one
NBA
of them...
for basketball. I know sports.
Yeah. And one of their activities is they have a ring tester that goes around and tests to see if the diamonds on your engagement or wedding ring are real.
For the NBA?
Yeah, like
that's not where I thought ring tester was going to go.
Oh, you thought it was for like the basketball ring or something like that?
Why the fuck is it with the NBA?
Yeah. Well, no, they just do all sorts of like halftime stuff. Like sometimes there will be like a half court shot competition where you win like 10K.
And just random audience members get to come down? Or is it like
and like random audience. Maybe. I don't actually know if you get like a seat number that gets called down. I can't believe you don't
have all the details to this.
I can find out for you. I think it's like a seat number call or something like that. Or maybe people just throw their hand up and a mascot comes and grabs them. But yeah, you get your ring tested. And there was this dude with his girl and she let them test her ring and it turned out to be fake. And she just straight up took off the ring, gave it back to him, got up and left. And the caption was like, that's going to be a rough flight home. So presumably they weren't even from the state.
Wow.
And that's some real shitster activity. But I feel like, you know, if we got caught in that situation, I'd get a look from you for sure, where you'd be like, "Oh, we're having a motherfucking chat when we get home." But do you think you'd really just tear off your wedding ring and bail?
No, but I'm also the kind of person that was like, I want something that's just aesthetically pleasing enough that suits my needs. Like, so for my particular thing, I wanted an engagement and a wedding band that slot together. So it essentially is one ring by the end of it. So I had an engagement ring for the 2-3
very functional
years.
jobs outside of your main job is very functional outside of retail.
Absolutely. Like, I could not afford to have on my hands something that had like this big, massive fucking diamond that was just going to get in the way, and I'll have to take the ring off all the time anyway. I'm very prone to losing things.
You really had to talk me down from that one. I was all for getting you this massive diamond that I could definitely afford, and the only reason we didn't do that was because you were just very sensible.
Yes, because I was very sensible, and we had so much money in our account that like...
It was silly for us not to spend that money.
Exactly, but instead we bought beer and pizza and burgers. Hashtag
that would be so much food and drink. That would be so much food.
So fucking much. So no, we've got to, like, I absolutely love what I have, but if a ring tester had come around, they were like, it's a fake diamond, I'd be like, yeah, okay, and I don't
To be clear, it's not.
Have you tested it?
Well, I bought it from a jewelry store that's legit, so I would think that.
Yeah, and they've checked it multiple times, and they keep telling me it's real.
I didn't go to like a pawn shop or anything like that.
Speaking of pawn shop,
I'm already scared enough at cursed side of street objects. I wouldn't want to get like a piece of cursed jewelry. No,
and especially you wouldn't want to give a piece of cursed jewelry to somebody that you love and respect so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want that kind of shit in your house. Actually, we have, we're a mindful kind of people and an open mind kind of people. That our door, what's that thing that you stand on? Doormat. Our doormat says hello and goodbye or something.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It doesn't say welcome.
It doesn't say welcome because
ain't no vampires getting in this house.
Exactly. We've seen enough vampire movies and shows and enough of supernatural. We have seen enough movies, we've seen enough YouTube channels that we're not going to be hell-bent on like, this shit is real and it's coming after you every second of the day. The chances are slim. The chances are slim, likely, but there are chances. There you go. Say that again.
I think you actually said it better than me because I said they are chances instead of there are chances.
They are chances and there are slim.
Yeah. There are slim and they are chances.
Exactly.
They are Chance Slim the Rapper.
Chance Slim the Rapper. Well, actually, speaking of rappers, besides like candy wrappers and stuff, because I am a big snacker.
Yeah,
but we were talking. Well, you were watching something the other day. You were talking Logic, the rapper.
Oh yeah.
You had a bit of beef that you were bringing up.
Yeah, I'm mad at the internet.
Yeah.
I started off this episode apologizing, and now I'm going to start beefing him.
Yeah, nice.
So
how many
Logic
minutes are we? 10
has 20.
Oh.
Logic has a podcast, and it is quite good. He started off with like Seth MacFarlane and I think some other musicians, and he brought his dad on. So Logic is a half white, half African American man who has had history with his family being subject to the unfortunate side of drug use. Mm-hmm. And his dad was quite absent. I think his mom was pretty mistreated, that sort of thing.
Which was the dad the black one?
Yeah, dad's the African American one.
African American.
Whatever. So Logic had his dad on, and I don't even know if his mom's still alive or not, but he had his dad on to talk about kind of like how things went down. And Logic has this sweet moment where he's speaking with his dad, and he's like, so I'm not having a go at you, but like, I just want to understand what the high was like for crack in this case. And he's like, well, I just want to know what could make someone make that little boy wait forever. You were supposed to come pick me up.
Yeah.
So he starts crying. And people in the comments,
Logic
starts crying. And his dad is like, props to him because he's just sitting there taking it and like trying to explain what he's done wrong, but he doesn't really give him as much of the like. Logic is asking him like, what was the highlight? How was it good? And you can really tell his dad like has gotten to the place of sobriety that he has because he's blocked all that shit out. And he's like,
it wasn't good. I hated it. Yeah. I think I tuned in around that time. But
my beef is with the people that were in the comments being like, bruh, don't cry on a podcast. Save that shit for private. And it is just absurd how predominant toxic masculinity or even just like general shaming has gotten these days on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we'll have some people sitting in our comments that may end up being unsavory down the track.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of the internet. But at the same time, if we can share one message to all of you out there that is actually of sincerity, because most of this podcast is not.
This is warranted.
Yeah, this is warranted. You can show your emotions at any time.
Oh my God.
It is not for people to say that you're not allowed to be on recording or camera to discuss matters of importance. It makes me so incredibly frustrated to see there are people out there that are presumably fans of his music because they're following his page and listening to this, seeing this thing pop up, where he talks about all of the family history he's had, how he spent times not speaking with his dad, how his dad has left him waiting, how there's been, problems with his brothers and sisters and da-da-da. And this is all, you can listen to a history of Logic's family, basically, in the one song, which goes for like 7 minutes, but it's an amazing song. It's called Under Pressure.
Oh, I remember that. It was like the dad.
Yeah, and there's
talking
like,
to
there's cuts of like phone calls from his genuine family and that sort of thing. But what I just want to wrap up there is like...
Wrap up. I'ma say it in a rap.
Is that, you like, it is absurd for people who may follow him for his music to think that because he has changed the medium from audio storytelling to being on video, that he is not allowed to express his range of emotions in the same way that he was before, but with more words. So I think that, like, really, if people want this opinion or not, I don't really fucking care. That's the point of this podcast.
Yeah.
Is that it's really important to look inward when it comes to all this bullshit of, oh, you think it's silly that someone's sharing a part of themselves in front of other people? Do you not see the value in how that might help others feel like they're not alone? And if you feel like you have to judge that, then maybe you're, tripping over some stuff that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think being able to show your emotion is something that, actually, I was watching TikTok or whatever the other day that was all about that our generation, so specifically those born before or sort of in the early 2000s mark, before the technology boom, like, fucking hit. Like, we still grew up with a computer room in school where you would go to a room where there was 30 computers. So, like, we were in the age of technology where we had that, but we did not have cell phones at the time. Like, we had a really weird combination.
Kind of. I don't
we
know.
still
I mean,
had
like,
pre-Twitter, Instagram, Facebook stuff. Like, as going through primary school and early high school, we didn't necessarily have access to
I had a phone from the start of high school.
Yeah, so did I, but it was a Sony Ericsson that I had to put $20 credit on every month.
I had a sliding phone that could only send text messages, really.
Totally. So, like, we're in a particular generation where we kind of got the best of both worlds, but we're the last to remember pre-internet, pre-phone to the extent that we know it now. And my point of that, surely I had a point, but it was just very interesting that, is that we're doing everything alone these days. You play games with your friends 20, 30 years ago, or let's just say 20 years ago, it's 2024 now. So 20 years ago, you would have a LAN party with your friends and you would bring extra consoles and TV monitors.
And even if you are playing those video games, you're there next to one another.
They were next to
linking up.
Exactly. And so, the old mate Tommy down on the other side of the lounge room, or he might be in the offset dining room in the same kind of room, but you're like my God,
you could shout over to him and be like, Brian, I kicked your ass, whatever.
Brian kicked your ass. I'm like, oh my God, Tommy, I can't believe you just got that like tomahawk throw on fucking Call of Duty Rust. Did you just hit me from the other side of the map? Did that fucking and everyone's going crazy and you've got the whole emotion and energy there. And these days we still have an amazing connection and like the world of games and that connectivity in terms of like Fortnite and stuff like that, like Minecraft. All these kids these days are still having similar experiences with their friends, but they're all just on a headphone and they've just got their screen and they don't have their buddies next to them.
And it probably reinforces a bit of that like keyboard warrior mentality where you're not seeing the person you're affecting at all.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much shit talk on like Xbox Live and stuff where it's like, how the boys talk to each other. And I mean, adds an element of fun where you can shit talk with your friends.
It's an unfiltered sense, but it's still...
then it becomes really precarious when it comes to, or delicate, I should say.
Delicate, yeah.
When it comes to strangers being able to do that to each other, because you don't care about that person's feelings necessarily if you're not someone that's in touch with the human experience.
And you don't necessarily have the precursor. Like, I think it's so incredible that we can connect with others across the world and those that you've never spoken to before. You can play a match with and send them a message afterwards, be like, yo, that fucking shot was awesome. Whatever it was. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Speaking of the...
Yeah.
I saw this great post the other day that was like, I just got beat so bad that I had to tell someone I was 12. And it was like someone that reached out with an Xbox Live message and they're like, dude, you're fucking trash. And they're like, I know, I'm sorry, I'm only 12. And they're like, oh, it's okay. Do you want to play another game?
Oh my God. Yes. I fucking love that. I actually, one of my Instagram posts that I made years ago was a photo of me and my mum and a quote that really reminds me of the two of us. And I don't know who it's by, but it's, what do I want to be when I grow up? Easy. I want to be what every grown-up wants to be, a kid.
True.
And I was like, I love that. And like you and I were talking about that just recently in terms of the nerdiness. You know, like you love your superhero shit. You love your video games. I
feel like that's the most direct way that you can stay in touch with being a kid. You like, I mean, it's easy to say that it would be to be without responsibility. And that's why most people want to be a kid again. But I think the pursuit of things you genuinely have not stopped enjoying is pretty much how you stay in touch with that. So that was our portion of, or at least my portion of wisdom for the podcast.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are laughing your asses off.
And feeling vibes from inside. So last time we were a science podcast and now we're a self-help podcast.
This is crazy.
That's who we are. We change week on week.
Science therapists.
Science therapists.
How would that work, do you think? Like, do you think if you put a scientist and a therapist in a room together and the therapist was assigned to provide therapy to the scientist, do you think it would be a little bit like a flat earther and a round earther who is really committed to the cause, like someone who knows what shape the world is?
So a flat earther or an earth-shaped earther.
Yeah, an earth-shaped earther.
Yeah.
You tried to get me to say it was a flat earth last podcast. I don't know why you corrected me now.
I did too. Yeah, I tried to convince it like, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, do you think it would be like that where you get like the scientist and the therapist in a room together and the therapist is like, now let's access your emotions. And they're like, but my emotions are only chemicals. And then it just becomes this like banging your head against the wall conversation.
I think this theoretical is already like a catch-22 because a therapist or a psychiatrist or somebody in that field is by default a scientist because it's a particular type of science.
Am I being derogatory?
I think that, yes, you're being derogatory.
Is that like when you say, is there a doctor here and a dentist stands up?
Or like an archaeological discoverer. They're doctors, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, archaeologists are doctors.
They have to do a PhD.
Yeah, that's how you get to a doctor. I saw a meme the other day.
Does PhD just sound for philosophy of doctorate?
You think I know the answer to this? Are you Googling it?
Doctor of philosophy.
What? PhD stands for Doctor of Philosophy. That is not a clear acronym. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to have to Google that also. What does PhD stand for?
I got that from the website of my old uni, so I feel like that's probably pretty trustworthy. But at the same time, I never finished my degree, so I don't know.
A PhD stands for a Doctor of Philosophy.
It's backwards. It's a doctorate. Philosophy doctorate.
It's considered the highest postgraduate achievement you can earn. To be a fucking doctor in philosophy. Okay. So philosophers are the ultimate scientist.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's just that that was where the doctorate started, and they've just maintained the shorthand. I don't think
Oh, because then you're an MD. Oh my God, hang on. So like a medical doctor, you're an MD.
Mm-hmm. And my brother, who is an author, is going to be a PhD as well. Because it's the philosophy of the English language, I guess. Wait, no, he's going to be he's doing his master's? I don't know.
No, but...
Which comes first?
So a PhD stands for and is considered the highest postgraduate achievement you can earn. So you'd have your master's
would have come before him.
And then your PhD.
Right. I am not an academic, that's for sure.
We are not academics. That is definitely for sure.
But that's okay. Because
that's really interesting. I didn't know that. That's actually really
more
offensive.
Fun.
That a doctorate is... Oh, no. A PhD specifically, yeah. Wow. That's so smart.
Is it offensive or is it just reductive?
Oh, that it's
I could hear the gears turning in your head just then.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck are we just talking about? I was just thinking that school should have given us more. School should have given us more definitions, more understanding. Instead, I got a lesson on how much toilet paper to use, and I still didn't really understand it for a really long time.
Yeah, I always really appreciated that John Mulaney bit where he's basically just like, a school is like a uncle who is addicted to cocaine. And it's just like how he's talking about 10 years later, he's gotten like an alumni letter and they're asking for money. And he's just like, give me more money.
Yeah. He's like, I already gave you the money.
Yeah, really. And I definitely can vibe with that because I've got like 20K in uni debt that didn't even get me a degree. At least we're not in the States where it's like 130.
Yeah, fuck that. Or 125, which is like 130. That's pretty crazy.
Actually, that is pretty similar. Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's very, very close. It's very close. Oh man, we just start talking about stuff and then I kind of get a little bit lost and like I don't really know what to.
Speaking of debts, what's the opposite of debt? Having a lot of money. What would you do if you like came into winnings of some kind?
Like a lottery?
Yeah, lottery. Why not? Ooh. I mean, that because like if you circling back to the NBA with the ring test, if you look at the players, they are like 18-year-olds who get inducted into the league. And they may not have won the lottery. They still have to work for it and train and whatnot. But they earn like a $200 million contract for 3 years, that sort of thing.
That's the most fucked up thing. Didn't you tell me that, hang on, I wrote this down. LeBron got a $97 million contract for 2 years.
Yeah, so all right, I was exaggerating with $200 million for 3 years. That'd be like $200 million for a 5-year contract. But he's getting 93 for 2 years.
97 for 2 years, and then $120 million. So a little bit more for a coach, but over an 8-year span.
You know, I was playing 2K with my brother yesterday, and I was playing as LeBron. At times because I was playing Miami Heat all the time. Mm-hmm. He didn't score once. I don't see what the big deal is about.
LeBron, get your shit together. I don't give a fuck if it's in real life.
I may have been controlling the character, but I still stand by that was his fault.
It really was. Like, honestly, if AI and if good games could be better, then everything would be better.
Yeah, really. Anyway, yeah, so if you came into like a big amount of money, like the lottery or being a professional player or something like that, where like it's a chunk of money. Joe Rogan podcast money, whatever.
Hundreds of mils.
Yep.
Oh, I would. Okay, I've got two options. I think the first option is that I would like quit all my jobs and just focus on myself and like put a deposit down on a house and send money to my like closest friends and family as like a thank you first. Well, you're kind of in the house, so you benefit from the house. So I'm not going to give you any extra money.
Also, I'm just like
you're part
I'm
of
not
my
even a
friends
sugar
and family.
baby because you're not going to give me money like to live.
You can quit your job too and just live off me. I'm your sugar mummy anyway.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's in the will. Not the will.
Wait, you have will?
Hang on. What's the word? I don't know. We got married.
Vows?
Yeah, vows. Didn't we say I'll give you everything or whatever? I don't know. Now because the Brad. I don't remember any of my.
If that was just our vows up top, like it just starts with, I will give you anything or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And you're pretty cool too.
And that, honestly, that would have been the perfect vibe. You know what would have been so handy if we actually had a recording of our wedding? That would be nuts if we just had like...
It's almost like we tried to arrange that.
It's almost like we tried to arrange that.
Didn't quite make the step.
You know what? It's fine. I think, so that would be my first option, is quit everything, like give money to family and friends, invest into my business, invest into so much stuff and just really get set up, probably adopt a bunch of dogs.
And what is your business? Cheeky plug?
Cheeky plug is hashtag or at Mrs. Canine. Soon to move into Mrs. Canine companion coach to help you and your dog be better companions together. And
previously just providing informational content and in-person training?
Absolutely. Exactly
Nice.
what that was. Thank you very much. So hashtag at Mrs. Canine. That's how that works,
It's
right?
not hashtag at. It is just at Mrs. Canine, to be clear, people.
At.
She's supposed to be our social media person, guys.
Have you noticed there's no
Do
social
you know
media
how
up yet?
fucking doomed we are?
I have so many things I'm not capable of just yet. It's all okay. I'm learning.
It's all good. All
I'm
good.
learning.
So, yeah.
I think that's what I would do for the first
You'd
lot
get
of
like a
money.
house, a car.
Yeah,
did you say car? Or
No,
was
I
that just
didn't.
me?
You
Okay.
said that, but
My bad.
I would. I would. I would do all that, or I would just put it all into a lump old savings and get like the annual payments and
just
stuff.
start to live off the interest.
And well, also that, but I would just keep working as I am for like a year, and then
God, you're a workaholic.
I am a bit of a workaholic. Thank you. And I think I would just keep going. What about you? What would you do?
Well, I would probably quit my job too. And
Probably, I like that.
I might like work once a week or something just to have a slightly normal person experience.
Mm.
And then I would just do this and make music all the time.
Mm.
I would buy myself and a couple of my close friends
Am I a close friend?
our ideal cars.
I'm a close friend?
But when I say ideal cars, I'm talking about
Am I a close
not
friend?
stuff like your Lamborghini exotic cars. A lot of me and my friends want just like a nice SUV or truck.
Before you said it was
You're not a close friend, you're my wife, you're my best friend.
closest of friends.
Which means you don't get a car because I'm only getting five close friends. So yeah, I'd probably like...
So I give you a house and you give me nothing.
You're not giving me a house.
You can live in my house.
That's it, exactly.
Drive in your car.
If you ever decide to get rid of me, I'm doomed. So I would do that. I'd get a house. I would probably not get a house over like $1 million because I feel like, or maybe 2 with today's society and the fact that like $1 million is now just like a normal house, isn't it? Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd probably get like a $2 million house and then just...
Didn't you just say you're not
invest a
going to get a
bunch.
house over $1 million? Or you just change your mind?
I said I won't get it. I'd probably get like a house that's not over $1 million or maybe $2 million with today's standards.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'd probably do that and then just work on this stuff.
No.
And I would also buy you a separate shack out back so that I don't have
and
to...
a real diamond ring.
Low blow. So yeah, I'd probably, do the house, car. If I wasn't going to do the car, I would be slightly inclined to do one of those like compound things like Johnny Depp has, where you basically just have all of your friends come live at houses on the same street.
Yes, I would love that. Let's buy a street and have all of our little family and friends so we can all just live together as a little community.
It'd be pretty sweet.
It'd be so much fun.
Although you'd get so sick of some people, I reckon. Like, even if they're your best friends, you would just be like, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we're both very prone to this social battery hitting 0 and surprising you a little bit, right?
Yes, our house in that like compound would have to be a fort.
Yeah.
No
We're
one
like,
can get in.
yeah, it's all of a sudden just like silent mode, be like, I'm not talking anymore. I'll see you when I'm looking at you. And then we just disappear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, fuck that.
And I mean, if you come across that much money, I guess you have to do something like fun as well. What would be like your dream fun activity?
Ooh. Ooh, that is such a good question. How much money are we thinking? Like millions?
Let's just say
Multi-million.
100 mil to make a neat number.
That is a neat number.
Just where it's like enough that you can do crazy shit.
I think, I want to do fun shit. I think I'd probably want to get a bunch of tattoos.
So that would be like your activity.
I don't think
You wouldn't want to throw like a banger of a party or something like that. You would just want
I
to
don't want.
acquire things.
I like to acquire things.
Yeah, I can
I like a
respect
bit of a
that.
slow burn of stuff. Like maybe we could do one big old party just for the sake of having all of our people together
think it's
because we live
appropriate.
away from a lot of our family and friends.
But the problem is I wouldn't want to tell everyone that we've come across that much money. I would want it to
No.
be real low key.
Do you know what we'll do?
What's that?
We're gonna host a party,
Mm-hmm.
but we're still gonna take donations. And we're still gonna get people to pay for their own meals. We're just getting everyone together. We're gonna be so generous. We're gonna be like, guys, don't worry about the tab. We got the tab. And we're gonna complain throughout the night, be like, oh fuck, we just have to top it up again. And then go home to our multi-million dollars up fuckers.
That's crazy.
I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Just so you guys know, for those of us who actually know Monica and I, if you ever feel cheated by the both of us, know that she is the mastermind behind it.
Wow, you threw me into that fucking buzz, liar. Wow.
No,
Actually,
we're pretty honest people. I don't
We
think
are
there's
pretty
anyone
honest
out there
people.
feeling cheated.
I think like what's really interesting is that we both have, and every human ever would have sort of your public persona and your personal persona.
Of course.
My all-round aura is very sunshine, bubbly, happy, wholesome, sweet little friend, but also has funny, dirty jokes and like I'm a truly ruthless kind of person, but in a fun way, right?
It's quite a dichotomy.
So much. So we've got our public personas, and I'm a very happy, sweet, bubbly. There was not that long ago where I was really, really smart and tried to catch a fly on a fly screen, and I became a real life badass. I felt like I was, what was that movie that we just watched recently from the same makers as Kingsman, that spy movie? Was
Argyle.
Argyle, yeah. That was good. That was really,
That
really
was a
good.
great movie.
So made by the people of
Kingsman?
Kingsman, which is fantastic. So very like theatrical, but very clever and lots of twists and turns and stuff. I felt like a full badass out of that, as well as Prince of Persia. Do you remember?
I think I know where this is going, and I feel
Yeah.
like you are really laying it on.
Absolutely. It was so cool. And if you're watching from the outside, you'd be like, yeah, that whole thing lasted like 3 minutes. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So you're trying to catch a fly?
I was trying to catch a fly on our fly screen, and our dog was kind of like booping it with his face. And I thought, I'm the big smart brain human. I'm gonna like punt it with my hand and catch it.
You know that's not what a punt is, right? That's a palm.
Pumped it.
Punting is
Pumped it.
using your foot.
Wow.
That did just backfire quite sufficiently.
What was that an alarm for now, huh? To wake up?
No, it
3 o'clock
was
in the afternoon.
for the concert we're going to later to remind me not to be late.
So excited. Just a reminder.
Yeah,
Don't be late.
don't you fuck. So guys, Monica has one of the most annoying traits on earth. And I beg none of you to pick this up to the people that you live around. If someone asks you to remind them of something, do not, and I repeat, do not give them that reminder the moment they finish asking for it.
Can we give an
Today,
example? Yeah.
I asked you to remind me to... Yeah, wow. I thought I put my phone on silent.
Yeah. 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 That's embarrassing. Wow.
But the audience is not hearing this. This is just the it's a computer coming through. I asked Monica earlier today to remind me to grab something before we go to the Queens of the Stone Age concert. And what she likes to do, thinking it's a funny haha joke, is when I finish saying, "Can you please remind me to do this later?" She then says, "Hey, just a reminder to do this later." And it is 0% helpful.
Are you sure? Because most of the time you actually
And
remember to do the
99% infuriating.
0% helpful, 99% infuriating.
Do you want to know what that 1% is?
What?
My disappointment in you.
Do you know what 100% chance is going to happen, though?
What?
You're going to remember the thing.
Thanks to me.
Because you're... So, does that not give yourself the boost that if you want to remember something, you can just say to yourself...
it just makes me feel alone without a support system in place.
Bummer for you.
Do you guys see what I live with? This is fucking wild.
Yeah, you get me on the unwarranted record. You put headphones and a microphone in my mouth, I'd become a bit of a bitch.
You have the microphone in your mouth? Oh, that's hot. You couldn't even fit your mouth around that microphone if you tried.
I don't want to try because I don't want to put my my mouth on it. Can I?
I mean, it's clean. You're the only person that uses it.
It doesn't fit.
I just heard you snort into the microphone. That was really something.
Can I give you some trivia?
Yeah.
Is nutmeg made from a fruit?
Yes.
Okay. Is mace?
No, nutmeg is a seasoning, isn't it?
Yeah, but where do you get seasonings from? They don't just grow from the ground as seasoning.
Herbs. It's not fruit, it's a herb.
Okay.
Are you going to make me answer all these first and then you're going to tell me? Or
No, I'm going to call you out now.
Sick.
Sick! Nutmeg is a fruit.
Okay.
And it's made from the same fruit as mace. Like what you would spray into somebody's eyes.
How?
Nutmeg and mace are the same fruit.
But you can eat nutmeg and you're fine. And there's no spice. Nutmeg isn't spicy.
It's not spicy.
It's like just a weird taste.
It's
kind of like
how would you describe nutmeg? Weird.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like if you had plastic ginger. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think I can because I just... It's like you had plastic
right. Another
ginger.
one on the right list.
Have you ever eaten like a raw ginger bit?
Probably at some point.
Gross.
Was that it? That's all. Okay.
All right. So on the topic of fruit.
Yeah, sure.
Potato chips. Like a normal, like Smith's potato chip, like crispy chips, right?
Are Smith's international or is that like the Australian appropriation of Lay's?
Oh, I feel like Smith's is everywhere because it just seems normal to me. But maybe Smith's and Lay's is different. I've never really thought about that.
You know what?
What about like Red Rock Deli and stuff?
I feel like we have only had a half a conversation in this podcast and the rest are tangents.
Yeah.
And people are going to be getting so mad listening to it.
And for the 2 hours before this, we were like, we need structure. We need to figure things out. We need to go into points. And we're just Googling random fucking shit.
That's okay. That's all right. Oh, it's trying to show me like the Smith's donation home.
That's so embarrassing.
Smith's chips.
Smith's and...
Also, you know what's ridiculous? That Australians call chips and chips.
As opposed to like chips and crips.
Chips and fries.
Chips and crips.
Are you calling in some crips?
Frito-Lay primarily uses the brand name Lay's in the United States.
Brother Smith here.
And others use the brand names in certain other countries. Walker's is in the UK and Ireland. Smith's in Australia. Right. Chipsy in Egypt and the West Balkans.
That's cute.
Tapu chips in Israel. Margarita in Colombia, and Sabritas in Mexico. That's so cute. So it's this... Oh, we were talking about potatoes.
Oh, no, what I was saying was fries and chips.
Oh, yeah, fries and chips,
That's
crisps
dumb.
and chips. And yeah, that is pretty dumb.
It should be fries and chips everywhere.
So fries are hot chips.
Yes.
As opposed to just...
Chips.
But I think chips and hot chips also make sense.
It makes sense, but like some people say, let's go get some chips.
But also if you're like, let's go get mash chips.
That would be a psychotic person.
Do
you say, let's go get some mashed chips?
I will now.
I hate my life.
Okay.
That's a lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a guessing game now. All of a sudden. So potato chips.
Yes.
Do they go from raw potato to bag in, you got 3 options. 15 minutes, from raw potato to seasoned and sealed in a bag, 30 minutes or about 7 hours.
I would want to say 7 hours, but I feel
Why?
like you're going to tell me 15 minutes because they have to dry up. Or do they like put them in the bag and then just like...
Put them in the bag wet, like wet chips.
Yeah, and then just blow dry the fuck out of that bag and seal it up so that it's like a sauna in there.
So like they're putting the chips, the raw chips in the bag and they're blowing hot air into the top before they seal it?
Yeah, do you think that happens? I mean, I feel like that would cause some pretty explosive bags of potato chips.
I do know that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Because the reason I wrote this down is because last night I was like, I'll just scroll on socials and it was one of those how things are made videos. And
Great.
it is 15
Informing.
minutes from straight up raw potato from the ground that all gets like chucked into the bin.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes through the whole sorting machine of big potatoes and little potatoes, and these ones go through and these ones get cut up and then dried and then wet and
So
then
they are
seasoned.
still super dried, but just not
Yeah.
in a bag, like I thought. I mean, I
They
don't know
get
why
dried
I would
before they go in the bag.
I don't know why I would assume they get blow dried in the bag, but
You get those metal like
I'm trying to
aluminium
optimize the process for them.
toxins. Fuck yeah. All right. And then our sharks. Hang on.
hanging.
Max is no longer with us. Actually, on that has given me an immediate flashback. So back in high school, you'd have like once a year or twice a year, whatever, like your award ceremony for like highest achieving in science or whatever.
Mm.
I like straight up probably never got an award. I don't remember ever having to like go get an award. But they would say, we're asking, Max Robinson to come up. And then Max Robinson would come up and they would say, unfortunately, Monica isn't here with us today. And they would announce the award and then they'd move on to the next person. And you're left thinking, you're like, are my classmates dead? They're not here with us? They're not... Like, it was the way that they phrased it.
They always phrased it like that, for sure.
They phrased it so fucking weird. Just
Unfortunately, Dennis has moved on.
Yeah, Dennis is no longer here with us. Yeah, he fucking went home because he threw up this morning. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
what are you talking about?
He's
Why
in
would he-
Thailand. Like, I don't... What do you mean?
What
Making it sound
kind of
so-
high risk life does he live? That
Mind you, our high school was a bit how you going. I remember when I was pre-high school and I was
I'm going to piss off our native fellows, but isn't all of Australia a little how you going?
It's how you going? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I haven't really heard of a school that wasn't like
A bit how you going.
a bit rocky.
In fact, if you don't know what that saying is, get on it. I like it a lot.
It's very Australian.
Very
I don't think
Melbourne,
anyone
like
else-
very Victoria. I didn't hear it before we got here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I didn't hear it in Canberra.
fair enough.
Did you? A bit how you going?
I don't know. Proceed. What are my options?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck it.
Okay. Which is older? Are sharks older than trees? Or are they older than Saturn's rings?
Trees.
Why?
Well, the problem is I have no idea how old Saturn's rings are.
But you do know how
So
old trees and sharks are.
It could be like an amassing of the past million years for Saturn's rings. So maybe I will change my answer. But sharks are prehistoric, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
So I would think that they came pretty freaking early, and they don't need trees because they breathe underwater.
Yeah.
So it seems plausible to me that sharks could be around before trees, but at the same time, I really don't know which side to choose because, like I said, orbits are crazy. It could be hard. Like, it could be
older.
easy enough that Saturn could have just drawn in meteor or asteroids or however the fuck its belt is made up over the last million years. And we know the Earth is 1.9 billion years old or something like that.
Facts.
I'm going to check now. I'll just give you an answer. After I've
Googled?
Oh, it's 4.5 billion years old.
4.5 billion?
Yeah.
Wow, that's... Earth is 14.
I would say that probably... can you repeat the question so that I can actually answer it?
You're like, I've been talking so long, I don't know what the question is anymore.
Hey, I'm going to carry this episode.
I put a lot of work into this. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Monica's sweating behind the scenes, guys.
I had sweat armpits before. Sweat pits. Are sharks older than trees or Saturn's rings?
They are older than trees.
That is correct. They are also older than Saturn's rings.
That's pretty crazy.
That is fucking crazy.
How old are Saturn's rings?
I don't know.
See, this is the preparation we're talking about. How old
You think I got facts behind all this?
Jeez.
I have so many tabs.
Yeah, guys,
open.
you should know this show is about 20% fact checked.
This is... Well, that's why in the intro... I'm gonna have to look this up. Isn't that what we said? Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, shit. This is probably the debut episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy the intro.
And if it's not there, sorry.
Enjoy it next week.
It'll be the next week. 400 million years is the age of Saturn's rings.
400 million? Can you look at how old trees are and I'll look at sharks?
And I got this from colorado.edu. So I'm not really sure why Colorado is so specifically looking at Saturn, but they are.
Well, how old did you say trees are? Saturn's rings?
400 million years.
Wow. So sharks first appeared, the earliest fossil evidence for sharks, or their ancestors, are 450 million years. So 50 million years. That is so many years before. So
does that mean that Saturn's rings are actually made up of space sharks bringing asteroids over?
Yes. Yes, that is a fact. That is a fact, and I will stand by it. I'm a scientist.
Unwarranted lore.
Unwarranted. Yeah.
So they're older than, you said 450 million years.
Yep.
It's 400 for Saturn.
And then for trees, let's have a quick look. How old are trees? Oh, shit.
Is it all pretty much around the same time?
I Googled how old are trees, and it says in highlighted less than 100 years. And I was like, oh my God. No, that's how long they can live. Some are less than 100, some are more than a few thousand.
Yeah, it would have been a very barren wasteland for even our parents if that were the case.
Yeah. So trees are between 350 and 420 million years.
It's all pretty close around the time.
Yeah, within millions of years.
I still think it might have been some fertilizing space sharks.
I think it could be. I mean, I don't really know what Saturn's
that's
rings are
all
made
within
up
the
of.
same 100 million years, which I'm 100 million years old. That's like no time at all.
That's like no time. I'm like 47 million, so like I'm a bit of a baby compared to you, but like...
We probably should have talked about age before we got married.
So did you know? All right. Oh, fuck me. Where's it gone? Okay, I need to fix this. I need to fix this whole thing. Okay, so in terms of sharks, did you know that over half the surface of the Earth is in complete darkness all of the time?
How does that have to do with sharks?
Where do sharks live? Not in Saturn.
In space, collecting rocks for Saturn.
Oh, I thought you meant that...
I didn't think they were living in Saturn.
I thought that you were saying that the shark debris was making up the Saturn's rings, not that the sharks were collecting the fucking meteors.
I think there's space sharks that are floating around space using their fins to propel themselves, and they are collecting little rocks to put into Saturn's orbit.
Do you think they're called sparks? Space sharks?
That's pretty cute.
Sparks!
Look, what was your fun fact? That the Earth is in...
Complete darkness all of the time.
Oh, a percentage of the Earth is. Yeah, that makes sense.
Over half the surface of the Earth is in complete darkness all of the time.
Pretty daunting.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
One time I was at, I might have been Fiji or Bali for a holiday.
So well traveled.
Oh, we went scuba diving. And it was like on this reef where we had to be very careful not to damage anything because it was a very fragile ecosystem. But at the edge of the reef, it was just this giant drop off down into like normal sea. And it was like the first time I ever realized how fucking deep the sea really is. Because I was looking at it and like I could swim over it safely. It wasn't any different from me swimming over the reef, just like 1 meter to the right. But holy shit, it felt like there was just something that could just go and then just come up and eat me.
It is. Honestly, I'm not scared. I'm not going to claim to be scared of many things. Like I don't really have a fear per se. Obviously, I'm scared of like normal things. Like if I accidentally go like, I don't know, just general stuff. General stuff that you're scared of when it spooks you. Kind of like you and your pigeon where it happens and you're like, whoa! Like, of course, I'm scared of stuff like that, but I'm not anticipating
That pigeon was so fucking close to my face, just to be clear. Like,
coming at you with claws out.
I thought its feet were about to take my eyes. And I don't know why I mean, it probably wasn't actually that close, but I don't know why I grabbed my chest to defend myself.
You have to collect yourself. There was this video, and we can leave it at this, on the pigeon story. I don't think it was a pigeon, some kind of crow, but there was this girl videoing herself, and a bird came up sweeping season and got its beak in underneath her eyeball, and it like slow-mos of the beak going in between the eye socket and the eyeball, and then it comes back out and flies away, and like it's horrifying. I've watched it so many times and I hate it.
Every time I see swooping birds, I'm always like face down. Eyes are the first thing.
Face down in the dirt, like hide your head in the sand, little girl.
What's that song? Do you feel like a man when you push her around? Do you feel better now as she falls to the ground?
Gives me like Matchbox 20 vibes.
It reminds me of Saints Row 2 because it was on the soundtrack. Anyway, there you go, guys. That was another episode of Unwarranted with a touch of off-tune karaoke by moi at the end. I hope you have enjoyed this insightful episode. We are becoming a science podcast.
We are becoming a science podcast. That's unwarranted for sure.
Definitely not the goal.
It's not.
But thank you all once again for joining us. I hope you have a lovely week. All right. Love you guys.
Bye.